Welcome to Legacy Magazine presents The Business of Black Business, a talk show that interviews Black entrepreneurs and advocates for Black businesses. Topics include access to capital, best business practices, success stories, and more. Now introducing our host, Jay Reynolds.
Hello, and welcome to another installment of The Business of Black Business. Question for you. Are you a Black business that wants to take your business to the next level? But are you prepared to present your business to funding sources? Can you stand up to financial due diligence coming from a bank or some other financial institution? Well, this week we get to talk about financial health and the ability to tell your story in such a way that it's compelling enough for someone to give you a loan, someone to give you some money. Anyway, my name is Jay Reynolds. I own WolfCreek Consulting. We are a top-ranked executive staffing company. We place people in finance, accounting, and IT. This is a business of Black business. This is a show that's designed to help Black entrepreneurs navigate through how to build, scale, and sometimes monetize or finance your business. It's a unique opportunity to hear from people who understand small business and people that can actually help you to grow your business. I want you to hear directly from those folks, and I want you to, in some cases, understand what they went through and definitely get the opportunity to pick their brains a little bit in a virtual kind of way, right? Anyway, I want you to help me to welcome Jacky Pierre of ANROPI Consulting Group. Jacky.
Hello,
good morning,
Jay.
Sir. Good
How
afternoon,
are you?
rather. How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
Good. Hey, look, first of all, I know you're a busy guy, and gosh knows I know you're a busy guy because you're my CPA. So I know that I gotta get in line sometimes just to talk to you, and I welcome that. But thanks very much, Jacky, for taking the time out to do this. I really appreciate your time and the insight that you're going to bring to this. First of all, I don't read bios very much, Jacky. I am going to read kind of a snippet from yours, but I really want people to hear from you, to hear who you are and how you became, the guy the juggernaut in your space that you are. And I say that in the most respectful way. I have seen the results of your work. Jacky Pierre was born and raised in Haiti. He moved to the United States after high school to go to college in Missouri. He is a certified public accountant and a certified project management professional. He has extensive experience working with public and private accounting, in public and private accounting, as well as project management. He is the managing director of ANROPI Consulting Group, a full service accounting and project management firm that provides bookkeeping, tax audit, and project management services to business and individuals. And Jacky is also a friend of mine. Jacky.
Yes, first sir. Of
all, talk to me a little bit about who you are as a person. Tell me where you come from. Tell me who your influences are, the people that actually made Jacky Pierre.
Well, like you already said, well, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me on the show. And I watched some of the previous guests before, and I think you're doing an excellent job. And this is something you probably should do full time.
How much is that gonna cost me, Jack? I gotta go right. I know you're gonna charge me for that one.
Of course, yes. But yeah, I was born in Haiti, so I went to high school in Haiti, and then after high school, I decided to move to Missouri to go to college. And after college, I moved a lot of places. I stayed in Missouri, Tennessee, Georgia, and I moved on, and then I ended up moving down to Florida, which is where I decided to make it my permanent home. So, and growing up, my father was a businessman, and I saw what he did, and I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to create something that could leave a legacy, not only for me, for my kids, and for my friends, for people around me. And the one thing that I really like to do is give back. So
Very
pretty much
important.
like um, in a nutshell, that's me. So,
Perfect.
mm.
Tell me, talk to me a little bit about the name of your company. Really curious to know where that comes from. It's a out of the ordinary name for a company. So how did you arrive there?
Well, in Ropi, whenever I was trying to choose a name to for my company, for the firm, so I wanted it to be unique. So that's why, like, I go with the first two letters of my dad's first name, which is his name was Andrew,
Hmm.
and my mom's name is Rosalind Rose. So I chose RO, and the first two letters of our last name, which is Pierre. So that's how you get like Enropi. So which is like a family affair, which is a legacy of my mom
Exactly.
and dad. You know.
Exactly. Something that will mean something to your kids and your kids' kids as you build this legacy business. Talk to
Of
me
course.
about when did you decide you watched your dad and decided that you would become an entrepreneur, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes.
tell me a little bit about that. When did you exactly decide that you were going to start your own financial services company?
Well, I was working in public and private. I was working in the public and the private sector,
Hmm.
and I ended up moving down here in Florida for a contract, and the contract ended up like earlier than anticipated. So I had to pivot quick. But one thing about me, I always wanted to have my own business,
Okay.
and but I've seen it many times. So a lot of people want to start their own business, but it's tough because whenever you have your own business, you are your own boss.
Hmm.
What you kill is what you eat. If you
Yeah.
don't make anything, you're not gonna eat. So I wanted to do it a long time ago, but I was a little bit scared. But I have a few of my friends who was trying to encourage me to do it, to start my own firm. So after the contract ended, so I had to think quick, and then I
Right.
started the firm, and we've been in business since 2017. Yeah, so since 2017, and we're growing. We are as strong as ever, and we're helping lot of small businesses,
Yeah.
and we're very very happy with what we have accomplished, and we help a lot of small businesses and individuals out there.
We're going to talk about that at length, Jackie, and
Mhm.
not just because of the fact that I know what you do. I know what you do. I know how you do it. What I really want to share is the importance of what it is you do. Okay, let's talk about the services that you provide to your customers. Talk to me a little bit about the services that you provide, and then we're going to drill down into that stuff because I want people that are watching the show to understand how that applies to their business and how important it is, right? So,
Mhm.
what are some of the services that you provide?
Well, so some of the small businesses can't afford like to have like a full-time CFO, and we act as the external CFO at a quarter of the price of a full-time CFO, and the CFO help you review your books and go over your taxes, and whenever like you have a bookkeeper on staff, the bookkeeper prepare the books, and the CFO helps you make sense of everything that you're doing. We do tax planning for our clients. If you try to get a loan, so we get the documents together because we know exactly what the bank gonna want to see from you.
Right,
You know,
right.
and so like I said, we do taxes. So we partner with other people who can help you with your bookkeeping services, and we have other CPAs as well that can help you with your audit review services.
Well, I can tell you this, Jackie. I've been in business for a long time, 22 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a sales and marketing background. However, I came up through a corporate environment where I understood I know what a P&L statement is. I know I can read a P&L statement. I understand what a balance sheet is, but it's not what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I have, up until there was a certain important time in my business where I realized that I really needed to bring in an expert. I could not take my company to the next level with with the skill level, the financial skill level that I had, right? Sales, marketing, operations, really good at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Financial, being able to paint and tell a financial picture all the time with the numbers that I had in my head, I could not do that. And in lies, I meet Jacky Pierre. So what I want to talk about a little bit about some of the things that were like game changers in this industry, right? Over the course of the last couple of years, COVID-19. COVID-19 was a game changer for a lot of reasons. What has been some of your experience? Because, I'll back up 1 second. We lost 43%, 43% of all Black businesses out there, whether they're legacy businesses or new businesses or whatever. 43% of Black businesses during COVID-19, poof, went away, right? And then many of them did that because purely they could not recover from that financial pressure, or they could not put themselves in a path of funding or
Mm-hmm.
other things that allowed them to be able to get through those difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
So from your experience, why don't you tell us what your experience was with dealing with minority-owned and women-owned or companies during COVID-19?
Well, the lack of education is a big deal. And the one thing I see with a lot of the small businesses in practice, so their books are not in order. And the sad thing, it's like, so there is money out there available for them, but whenever they ask them for their financials, they don't have it. So now you have to rush to try to get it. And by the time you get it, you lose the opportunity.
Right.
So, and the other thing is like they tend to commingle. So they use the business account for their personal checking account, So, and that's a big problem.
It is a big problem.
Yeah.
I always tell people all the time, hey, look, the IRS grinds slow, but the IRS grinds. Every single day they grind. And one day somebody is going to want to understand,
yeah,
why are you going to Publix with your debit card from your bank, from your business?
Yeah. So it happens. And even I have clients, I talk to them every time I talk to them, I tell them like not to do it. Say, no, I'm not going to do it. And whenever I review the bank statement, I say, this transaction is not business related. So that's a big problem. And, the other thing, it's like, whether or not you're a business or you're an individual, so we don't want to pay taxes. We don't like to pay taxes. And the one way a lot of people try to do that is to increase their expenses and do not show they make a lot of money. And by doing that, so you are hurting your borrowing power. So I've seen that a lot.
It's a delicate balancing act. It's a really delicate balancing act, because what happens is that you say to yourself, okay, I'm not going, if I minimize the amount of money that I pay myself, then it allows me to have less on my K1, and also allows me to be able to take to drive more stuff through expenses. But at the same, to the point that you're making, when you go to the bank to try to say, hey, look, I want to borrow XYZ, you're not making enough money, whether you are or not. You're not making enough money because it's not showing that way.
And there is one small example I always take. You can find someone out there who's making like six figures, let's say $100,000, and the person takes a bunch of expenses. So now instead of showing like the person is making 100, well, you go to the tax preparer. The tax preparer says, like, "Oh, I can help you save money," and by only showing you making $20,000. So with all the expenses now, so you think like because you're making $100,000, you can get a mortgage for $500,000, but based on your tax return, it's telling the bank that you can only afford probably like $150,000 a house because your expenses are so high, even though you make the money, but your expenses are so high, you're only showing like $20,000 in net. And the businesses they do the same thing, So they take a lot of expenses and they want to declare a loss so that the loss can offset all the gains from other areas. Now, whenever you go to the bank, you need a loan. They said, man, so I see like you have money coming in, but your expenses are so high. If I give you a loan, you're not gonna be able to pay me back. So you're hurting yourself that way.
Right.
So
right. And I got to tell you, Jack, it's a delicate balancing act. That's why a person really needs to have an individual like you to counsel them through it. You probably could have helped Donald Trump, but I think it might be too late for Donald Trump. Another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that some of the things that we're going to talk about, unfortunately, the horse is already out of the gate, meaning that I really want you to talk to people about the monies and the programs that are out there and to help them understand it. And quite frankly, I wish we could have had you on the show almost a year ago because you might have really helped some people, but you still can with some of the programs that are out there. But I know that you have a PowerPoint presentation, so I think it would be really helpful for people to understand what are some of the programs, the government programs out there, the SBA programs that are out there, and some of the things that people might be eligible for and how they work. Without us spending, we could probably talk about it for hours, but I think it would make sense for you to kind of walk people through some of the things that are out there and how they work. Another thing you might want to do is remind folks that those EDILs, come January, it's time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you say that. So I do have a little presentation. So I don't know, like if we can bring slide number 2. And it's talking about like, a lot of the small businesses, whether or not you're small business or big business, you always want to scale up. And the one way for you to scale up, so you need to understand your financials. And there are 3 key financial reports you need to have. You need to have your income statement or profit and loss. You need to have your balance sheet, and you need to have your statement of cash flows. The income statement, it tells you like money you have coming in from the business, like whenever like you render services, you bill the client pay you, and then the expenses. So the cost of operating the business. The balance sheet gives you a snapshot of the business at some point in time. So it tells you how much money you owe and what you own in the business, as far as like if you have a car, if you have office furniture, if you have a loan. So looking at the balance sheet, I can tell if you're going to be able to pay loans or how liquid your business is. And then you have the statement of cash flows. It tells me like the money coming in, money going out. You have the operating side of the cash flows, which is the same account as in the income statement and profit and loss. You have the investing activities. It shows you the changes in investment you make in the business. Like if you sell an asset or if you sell the business, I can see how the money coming in, how the money going out. And then you have the financing activities that shows how much money you pay into the bank. So with those 3 statements together, so anybody can look at them and then tell you if you are making money or not. And talking to a lot of the small businesses, the one thing like whenever I ask them, so how are you doing? We're doing great. We're doing great, but so they look at how much money they have coming in. They don't look at how much money they have they'll spend it, you know. And most of the time, when you dig into the numbers, whenever they think like they were doing great, they're actually losing money,
Mm,
you know.
mm.
So in wherever you're going, I mean, even on the personal side, you need to know that, you know. If you
Yeah.
don't control it, you can't manage it, you know. So you
Right.
need to know your numbers. And this is not something like you need to wait like when you need it. It's like every month you need to review your income statement, your P&L, your balance sheet. Just like at home, you have a budget, you know how much money you're supposed to spend. If you see like you spend money in one area, too much money in one area, you need to course correct, you know. So now the questions about like the program that did out there. So we're gonna be talking about the EIDL. I'm glad you talk about the EIDL, saying like um payments gonna be due. Some payments were due in December, and payments gonna be due in January, so February. So, but I got good news for you too. You know,
Okay.
so
I'll
yeah,
take good news.
breaking news. So now the SBA understand what's going on, and because more likely we're gonna be in a recession next year, so you're gonna get a little break. So if your loan was under $200,000, you can sign in into the CAF system, which is the Capital Access Financial System. If you haven't done that, so anybody who is the in EIDL loan out there, you need to sign up in the CAFs. So because that's where you're gonna go to pay your loan. Now, if your loan was less than $200,000, you're gonna find a button there where you can enroll in the program. So they have like they're offering the hardship accommodation plan for the majority of the loan owners. So in a sense, it's like if your payment was going to be 500 for the next 6 months, they have a program where you can pay 10% of the 500.
Wow. That must just happen today.
No, so it's great news, you know, because I know a lot of people were worrying about making payments. They don't know what they were gonna do. So now, if your loan is more than 200,000, you're gonna have to reach out to the EIDL department and ask them to get enrolled into that program. If your payment was gonna be like $3,000 per month, now for the next 6 months, you can make a payment of 300.
Wow. Jack,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, there are so many businesses out there that are just have no idea what they're going to do. And quite frankly, anybody who's got a substantial business uh, and was in struggling industries probably
Uh-huh.
have some kind of EIDL,
EIDL.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's got them. And then
Mhm.
the fact of the matter is that the recession is cooling off. There's no
Mhm.
doubt in the matter. No doubt in anybody's mind the recession is cooling off. There are people that are panicking right now,
Mhm.
not knowing what they're going to do about that.
Mhm.
That's excellent news, Jackie, for a whole
Yeah.
lot of people. For a
Yeah.
whole, you just made a whole lot of people smile.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna help a lot of people. But the one thing you need to remember,
It doesn't
the
go away.
term, the
Yeah.
term is still 30 years. So, in what's going to happen? So, at the end of the loan, you're gonna have a balloon payment. So they're not gonna extend the timeline for now, you know.
Yeah, for now.
So, but at least you're gonna get like you can pay 10% of whatever the payment was gonna be, and after the first 6 months, you can still enroll for another 6 months. You may get like a 1 year deferment, paying 10% of the loan.
Oh my good. Jackie, when did this happen?
Well, so about like a month and a half ago. You know?
That is incredible news, Jackie, for a whole lot of. And I got to tell you, you might have some more good news. Let's go through that. That's excellent. Let's keep
Yeah,
going through this
yeah. So,
your charts because
mhm.
I got to tell you, I like to believe that I understand this, and I'm on the top of that. On the top of that
Uh-huh.
stuff,
Yeah.
that's the first time I heard that.
And
So
you know, you have the ERC. So now The ERC been around for this around the same time as PPP.
Yeah.
But everybody was trying to focus on the PPP and not the ERC. And the ERC is a credit like a business can get if you had employees in 2020 and 2021, and then you paid those employees, you can get up to 26,000 per employee. And it's a credit. It's a money you don't have to pay back,
Right.
So you can get up to 26,000, and for you to qualify, so you would need to have like employees that you pay, and then you file your 941. It's simple as that.
Right.
So, but the calculation, so it takes a lot, to come up with the numbers. And before, there was some confusion out there. People were thinking like if you had PPP, you cannot get the ERC, but that's not the case. So even if you had PPP, you can still qualify for the ERC. The
Got it.
one thing you cannot double dip, you cannot get the PPP and the ERC because like you're gonna have extra money. So, but it's a great program out there. A lot of the small businesses should take advantage of it. So we've been helping a lot of our clients with the ERC, and it takes a while to get the money, but the one thing we know for sure, like you're gonna get it.
Okay. And one thing I want to add, Jack, is from what I understand is that December 30th is the last day. So if you're a small business watching this and you're thinking that, hey, look, this thing is indefinite, or you could just keep waiting and one day you're going to do it, that's not true. Based on what I understand, you have until December 30th.
Yeah. Well, so you have a little bit more time. It's 3 years from the time when you file the 941, when the 941 was due. So that means like for the 2020, you have till 2024. For the 2021, you have till 2025 to apply.
Okay.
But the one thing with Congress, you never know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
So the earlier you file, so the better off you are. If tomorrow they change their mind and they said, well, so we're not gonna do that anymore. If you didn't file, you out. So the sooner you can do it, the better off you're gonna be.
Yeah. And one other thing I was going to mention too about that, based on what I know, Jacky, is that this money, just like you said, you're going to get it eventually, but it could be 6 to 9 months before you actually get the money. Now, it's a lot of money, depending upon the number of employees you have, but you can't expect that you're going to just do this and in 6 weeks you're gonna get an ACH in your account.
No,
that is absolutely not the case. It's going to take a number.
It takes a while, and they're gonna mail you a check, but the money is there. You don't have to pay the money back. And the one thing, it's like whenever you do it, whenever you apply for the ERC, you have to amend your tax return. And this is the tricky thing. You may get the money like in 6 or 9 months, but the IRS wants you to put it in your tax return now, showing it as like a income. It's a reduction of wages. So, and let's say if you already file your taxes, and then you had a gain, so now you're gonna have to pay additional taxes on that ERC filing, refund amount. So that means like if you're an S corp, you had K1, the K1 gonna change, and your personal tax return gonna change as well. So that's something like people need to know.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, people don't understand that either, too, Jacky.
Yeah,
Go ahead. No, I was going to
say like the documents you need to apply for this. So you need the 941, your payroll report, so your PPP documents, and if you apply for PPP forgiveness, so you need those documents as well. And the one thing that happened, it's like people get the PPP, and whenever like the window opened for them to apply for forgiveness, a lot of people went ahead and applied for forgiveness right away. And so if someone has not applied for forgiveness, and you had employees. So there are strategies out there that you can apply so to where you can extend the PPP money longer so that you can get more out of the ERC. So, and a lot of people, they just use the whole PPP for payroll while you could have used 60% of the PPP for payroll and 40% for other things. So that way you would have a lot more qualified wages for the ERC. That's something like I see happen to a lot of small businesses because they were not thinking about the ERC, so they just get the PPP. They just wanted to get rid of that money, and then but now it's too late. So whatever happened, but we can still help them, and we've been helping a lot of those small businesses with their ERC, and we're very excited. So some people are gonna be happy by June or by June, July, August of next year.
Well, I got to tell you, Jacky, I mean, the bottom line is that if you are not a CPA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you are, what you do for a business, whether or not you do e-commerce or you run a janitorial service or you're a GC. You need to have somebody in your corner who understands this complex issue, complex and ever-changing issue, right?
Yeah.
It's not just complex, it's ever-changing. Just like I thought I was on top of this and I just learned something today that must have happened just like like soon, or for whatever reason I missed it, you know.
Yeah.
But bottom line is that if you are a business and you're in business and you want to scale your business and you want to really understand your business, you want to take your business to the next level, you have to be talking to a CPA or somebody like Jacky who can actually be on who can actually help you to navigate this really, really complex issue. So let's do this, Jacky. Let's talk about, because I have you for a scheduled amount of time, but we could talk all day. I have a couple of other things that are really important to me to cover. And one of those things is, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you watch companies make? Minority-owned companies, or companies starting up or whatever. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see them make?
I mean, I alluded to some of them already, you know, like commingling of funds, and so try not to pay too much in taxes by overstating the expenses, and even like for the self-employed. So the one thing that happened with the self-employed people, so they had like a credit out there where they could have got. So I think I have a slide on that one, you know. So if we can pull it, you know. So the next slide. So not next one. Next. Next. Okay. So that if you were self-employed and then you had COVID in 2020 and you had COVID in 2021, or you had to take care of someone in your household with COVID, or you had a child who couldn't go to school because the school were closed, so you can get up to 36,220 in tax credit in your tax return. So, and a credit is different. So now you can be making a lot of the small business, the self-employed people, they couldn't take advantage of this because they declare a loss. Because for you to take advantage of those programs, you have to make money.
Right.
So because they're gonna take like the self-employment income divided by a certain number, and then if you make like $100,000 or 120, and then you had COVID in 2020, and then you had COVID in 2021. So, and then you had to take care of someone with COVID in your household. So you can get $36,220 dollars in credit. So, and let's say if you make like 130,000, so you can declare the 130,000 with that credit. It's gonna offset whatever you had to pay to the IRS, you know. But again, So we're not thinking about those things. We just want to declare as little as possible so that we can get like a $2,000 refund check, and without thinking about those things, you know.
Yeah,
So
gotta be. Yeah. I got to tell you, Jack, and a lot of us small
mhm,
business owners are
mhm,
self-employed, right? We're
yeah,
self-employed.
mhm,
So bottom line is that if you self-employed and you had somebody, one of your kids had COVID, right
mhm,
away, if
mhm,
you're balancing this right, you
yeah,
could have gotten some significant dollars
oh
in
yeah,
the form of a
mhm,
credit. But
yeah,
to the point that you're making, if you're paying, you're self-employed and you pay yourself $20,000, that money is just gone. It's just no, you get
yeah.
no access.
But you know, the one good thing, it's like if you were self-employed and then you made money in your self-employment income, you file your taxes, and the tax preparer didn't take advantage of this, and you had COVID, it's not too late. You still can amend your tax return for 2020 and 2021 to get that money.
Right. And
The
people still
money's
need to be,
out there.
folks
You know?
still need to be talking to a guy like you.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so all right, let's move on a little bit. Um, let's talk about your company, Jack.
Hmm.
Talk to me about you. Um, there are tons of CPA firms out there, right? Tons of
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
Tons of people that are doing CPA, sometimes from from their bedroom or whatever. But what
Hmm.
separates Jacky Pierre from everybody else, except for the fact that you're my CPA and you're my friend? Outside
Yeah.
of that, what makes you different from the rest? And quite frankly, I'm sorry. I'm gonna back up. I got to tell a story. Um, Jacky Pierre is, for the people that know my business, I've been around for a long time, 20 years, and which means that I have had my share of financial advisors and my share of people that have done my taxes. And I luckily I stumbled into Jacky after having a really bad experience with a CPA, really bad experience with a CPA who cost me a lot of money, who and and uh, and by the time Jacky got involved, we had to redo tax returns and a whole lot of other things. And quite frankly, the difference that I saw in you more so than any other CPA I had ever spoken to is because you approach this like you're entrenched in the business, you're part of the business, and and you want me to be successful because you feel as though you're part of the business. And those are the kinds of CPAs. That is the kind of CPA you want to get married to, right? You want to marry a guy like that because that is a guy who's going to take care of your business. He's going to tell you the bad news, even if you have a strong personality and you don't want to hear it. He's going to still tell you the bad news, and keep you out of harm's way. So, from my perspective, that's my story about Jacky Pierre and why Jacky Pierre is my CPA. But what makes you different, Jacky?
Well, I could not have said it any better, you know. So it's like it's local. We customize. So our clients, we don't look at the clients as a number, you know. So and for most of my clients, they have direct access to me, and because I want you to succeed, and because if you succeed, so you're not only gonna help me, but you're gonna help a lot of people. And like I said, so I'm somebody who would love to help people, and you know, I want to help those minority businesses grow, scale up. So I want to educate as much as I can. So and you know, like you can go to a bigger firm, so get your things done, or you're just a number. But with me, you can call me. So and I try to help you. I not only do your taxes, I try to do tax planning. And so if you're doing something wrong, so I'm gonna tell you, I'm upfront with you. So I had to fire some clients, you know. Yeah, because
Yeah,
so I'm gonna give you the bad news and I'm gonna give you the good news as well as the great news. So you want
yeah.
it, fine. You don't want it, find somebody else who can help you, you know.
And I will tell you what, Jacky, glad to have you on the show because of the fact that, bottom line, this show is not about commercials, right? This is not a commercial for Jacky Pierre CPA. It is designed to help Black businesses grow their business and scale up and introduce them to people that can literally help them, right? And for me, that's why it's good to have you on the show, because it's not just a commercial about Jacky Pierre. It's saying, hey, look, get married to a CPA who is going to help you, who's going to care about your business, and who's going to go the extra mile to help you, and who's going to do the right thing, right? Jacky, you don't cut corners. I know you don't cut corners. Even when I suggest you cut corners, you don't cut corners. Yeah. So I do believe that is really important to the sustainability and the growth of Black businesses when we align ourselves with people that are going to do the right thing, right? Yeah. So the last question I'm going to ask you is this. You're a really successful guy, Jacky. You have great client base. You're well known. You're well respected. Yeah, and again, you give back to the community. But talk to me about when things weren't good. Give me an idea. Give me an example of what you of how you got to where you are and how you dealt with adversity, because we've all had it, right? We've all had it. Yeah. I was at a thing with Bill Picard the other night, and Bill Picard is one of the wealthiest Black men in America. Said, things happen. It's not always good news, right? He said a comment like, I've been so close to bankruptcy, I could kiss it goodnight. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. We're coming from somebody like Bill, who's a multimillionaire. But Bill said, I've been so close to bankruptcy that I could actually kiss it goodnight. So everybody, you're a successful guy, but give me some examples of when things weren't good.
Well,
and you got through it, and how you got through it.
So I remember writing something in the MIA magazine before. So they asked me a similar question. So it's like, but where there's no hardship, there is no achievement. Like everyone. So I had my challenges. So I would never say that I struggled, because I was at my faith, and everything that came from my hardship propelled me to a better place. So I've lost, I love, I've gained, and I've grown. That's what life it's all about, right? So, and even like whenever I started ANROPI, I was working, and like I said, the contract ended before it was supposed to. So, and at that time, we were in the middle of a small recession. So, and things were not easy. Things were tough. So I had to figure things out right away, So, but I always had faith, even when things are blurry, I have no idea how I'm going to make it. I still have faith, like tomorrow, everything going to be all right. And the one thing I always tell people, like me, so it's like I'm an actor. I'm playing a movie. In the movie, God created the movie. God is the producer. I am the actor. And in the movie, the actor never died. I'm gonna make it.
Tom Cruise doesn't.
Yeah. No matter what, how hard it is.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm gonna make it. So it hasn't been easy.
That's actually very insightful, Jacky. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's a very good that's a good visual. That's a very good visual. Thank you. Last thing I'm going to ask you is this: what's next for your company? Where are you headed? What are some of the projects you're working on? How can people get in touch with you? That kind of thing.
So tax season is coming soon, and now we in the tax planning phase, because so for my clients, I try not to, we don't look at taxes once a year. So it's throughout the year, we try to do the tax plan, understand where you are. And by now you have your P&L, so your balance sheet. So try to understand where you are. And so how can you minimize taxes, So, and again, like for small businesses, if you have a lot of money, so if you're making a lot of money this year, so do you need to buy a car? You know, because depreciation is something like you can take to reduce your taxable income, and the depreciation doesn't hurt you as much as the other expenses. We try to do the tax planning and so where you can invest like deferment income, deferred your taxable income. So, but currently we're working on tax planning. We are helping a lot of clients with their ERC, and we're working with some international investors as well. So, and next year we plan on growing our company. So, hopefully, we can open like a branch in Tampa and Orlando, you know, to service more businesses.
Well, I know a staffing firm that can help you or open your businesses in
What's the name of it?
Hey man, don't worry. I'll let you know. I'll make sure they calls you.
Yeah,
But and thank you for that, Jacky. You're a busy guy, and I
yeah,
really appreciate you taking the time to have this discussion. Before I let you go, I got to do a couple things first. I need to pay the bills. I need
yeah.
to thank some of the sponsors, and even before I do that, I want to talk about a new issue. The Legacy Magazine presents our women issue highlighting the most prominent and influential Black women in business and industry for 2022. You should check out those magazines. There's one for Miami, and there's also one for South Florida. And I got to tell you, Black women are taking over the world, and these are some of the most powerful women and most dynamic business people in the industry today. And definitely take some time to take a look at it, because these women are really, really impressive. Finally, I want to thank our sponsors. We're in our second year of this, and there's so many people that make this possible. First of all, I got to thank Dexter and his crew, Aaliyah. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much for making this important and giving back to the community. Demesman and Dover, personal injury attorneys. Victor, you have been with us for day one. Thank you for all you do to not only to support us and small businesses, but also HBCUs. You put your money where your mouth is. Career Source South Florida. One of the things that I like, and I say this over and over again, that Career Source South Florida basically has the ability to help you to change your life in some cases. If you're in a dead-end job and you're looking for something different, go to the website. Career Source South Florida has a number of jobs that might be life-changing for not only you and but your whole family. There's an IT help desk position, $24 an hour. There's a network engineer position, $23 an hour. There's a claim specialist, $22 an hour. Call center manager, $22 an hour. An airport agent, $21 an hour. An employment security rep, $21 an hour. Customer service person, $18 an hour. An event planning manager, $17. A residential maintenance tech, $14 an hour. And a temporary sales associate, $11 an hour. All of these positions are right now listed on Career Source South Florida's website, and they change them each and every week. Also want to thank FAMU Medical Marijuana Education and Research Institute. You guys have been around, have supported us for a long time. Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, and last and certainly not least, AARP, which I am a proud member. But anyway, I want to come back to Jacky and just thank Jacky for being here. I tell you what, Jacky, I'm going to leave you with the last word, right?
Yeah.
Give us some secret sauce. What do you want us to give us something that that you strongly believe would be helpful to any emerging business?
Understand your numbers, you know. So don't look at the top line alone, you know. Know how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. And I have the last slide, so that tells people how they can reach out to me if you want to book a consultation. So you can go on calendly.com/enropicg. Yeah, so know your numbers and do not commingle. So yeah, so do not commingle
Go
and
do
stay
that.
ready. Always stay ready, and on a monthly basis. If you cannot do it on a monthly basis, even on a quarterly basis, sit down get your financial reports, sit down with your CPA to understand where your business is. What can you do to improve your business? If you plan on borrowing money, so think about how you can show you're making money, because the more you show, the more you can get,
Right.
so.
Perfect. Great advice. Last thing I'm going to say is that this show is not a commercial. It's one that's designed to give people access to people that can help them to grow their business. And I strongly believe Jacky Pierre is a thought leader and a resource out there that can actually help you to grow your business. Last thing is this: tune into some of the other shows, some of the other legacy shows. There's tons of them out there, one almost every day, and they're great shows with thought leaders just like Jacky. On Monday, you have me, The Business of Black Business, at 1 p.m. Don't miss that one. Don't miss that one. On Tuesdays, you have My Money, Your Money at 7 p.m. with Bridget Lumpkin. On Wednesday, you have Nikki Gielen with Soul. Thursday, Lunch with Legacy Leaders with Anne-Marie Sorrells. A Taste of South Florida with the Chef Ari. And Black Health, hosted by Dr. Michelle Kerwin. She's Friday at 2 p.m. All of those shows are shows that invite thought leaders that basically can help you to navigate your life. Jacky Pierre, my CPA, my friend, and a guy who has, in my opinion, changed the trajectory of my business. I don't say that lightly because I like to take credit for all the stuff that happens. I don't think that I can in this particular case because Jacky, you actually make a difference. So thank you very much for that. I always say that, hey, if it is to be, it's up to me. Thanks again, Jacky, for being here. Thanks, Legacy Magazine. We will see you again on Monday at 1 p.m. Same time, same station. This is the Business of Black Business. My name is Jay Reynolds, WolfCreek Consulting, a top-ranked executive staffing firm. And thank you for being here. Make something great happen today.